The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hello, W4CY listeners. My name is Nitzan Mosery, and I am the Traveling Investor. This is where you're going to learn how to master your mind, body, and wallet. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, and investor, and I've spent my life studying and following the habits and mindsets of highly successful people. With that knowledge, I've created a lifestyle business where I live life on my own terms. I'm on a mission to share my knowledge to help you live life on your terms. I'm Nitzan Mosery, the Traveling Investor, and thank you for joining me as we dive into real, raw, authentic, and inspiring conversations with people from around the globe who are making an impact. What's happening, travelers? Nitzan Mosery here, the Traveling Investor on W4CY.com, the best internet radio on the planet. I'm here with my boy Tom Zames, philosopher extraordinaire. What's happening, my man?
How's it going, brother?
It's going well. I feel your energy this week is a little bit different than it was last week.
Better or worse?
Better.
Okay.
You're vibing a little bit higher. Last week you came in, I felt your energy was heavy, but you were trying to pick it up and get out of it. But today it seems a little bit lighter.
Yeah, I feel good, man.
Last week you were, shit was hitting the fan. Things were moving, left and right. So I guess things kind of settled in, and
there's still, I got it out of shit hit fan mode, and it's in like under control mode.
Okay.
Under control, still a little hectic, but a lot more peaceful than last week. That's for sure. Yeah.
What changed? Just circumstances, or was it a mental thing?
I dug deep. I fixed a couple of the problems myself. I had to take some time to fix them, but some of them fixed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting topic. Did they fix themselves, or did I telepathically fix them through the people? Because a lot of these things were things that were out of my control, like things I needed to rely on other people for.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it's out of my hands now. So then what I did was I was like, is it out of my hands? And I tried to connect with them telepathically and like, please do what you need to do. Please send Tom that. Do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the next day, things got done. So maybe I did do it.
Until they prove you didn't, right? Let's say you did.
Yeah, right.
Right.
What does it hurt to say it?
What does it hurt to say it? Because the more positive you put out there, the more positive you're going to get. So, what's the difference, right? You're thinking in a positive sense. You're saying, my energy focus helped it, my intention helped it, my mindset helped it. So I'm just going to keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because what's the opposite of that?
It's the opposite.
It's doing nothing. It's
no good.
It's just right.
Yeah.
It's out of my hand. Oh my
nothing,
God!
You don't experience any miracles. Nothing magical happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You worry, right? You're not in the present moment. I'm sure when you were there, you're like, okay, this needs to happen now, and you were focused, and you were. You put the intention out there with a lot of emotion and a lot of, oomph behind it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that kind of guided it to where it needed to be. So it's like, think about it like this, right? Our thoughts are if you go to a lake and you toss a pebble into a lake, what happens?
A ripple.
It ripples. Thoughts are just like that little pebble.
Yeah.
It's an energy. And once it's out there, it creates a ripple effect in all areas, all 360 degrees.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're sending that energy out, and it's going to affect who it needs to affect, and it's going to move them, right? And think about it this way. Because it's a 360 degree focal, right, going out from you, you're sending out positive vibes.
Yeah.
So it's hitting people that it shouldn't even hit, but boom, now you just sent out positive vibes into the universe.
And then you get more.
Right? And then you send out, and then make somebody else nice and say, oh, wow, that was nice. And they send out more, and they send out more. And it's just.
And it hits you back.
Yeah.
So it's like two people could view the same exact thing. One person views it one way, optimistically. The other one does it the other way. And regardless of whether that was true or not, they're each going to have completely different results. So it's like, what's that Albert Einstein quote? You can look at everything in the world as a miracle, and also as if there's two types of people that see everything as a miracle and people that see nothing as a miracle. And that's what it is. So it's a choice. So why not believe the good one? It doesn't matter, because you'll manifest it anyway. So
That's right. And that's where our negative beliefs come from as well, right?
Yeah.
When something happens to us when we were a little kid, it was the experience, it was the definition, the meaning that we gave to that experience, right?
Yeah.
So one person can see it and go, oh my God, that person yelled at me, so I must be shit. And another kid will look at it and go, that person yelled at me, what an asshole he is or she is for yelling, right? Completely. And then their belief systems are built upon that. So, and it's what's beautiful about it is that you can change those beliefs.
You can change your beliefs. Absolutely.
You can change your beliefs from one second to the other.
Yeah.
Right. You can change your thoughts from one second to the other. You just have to want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. You have to want to be that type of person.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we think that pain, right? If we live with pain long enough, it becomes normal, and that becomes the way it should be. But no, you're living with pain, you're living with guilt, you're living with fear, you're living with negativity, and suddenly you think that's the way things should be, just because you got comfortable with it.
Right.
That's the norm.
That became your norm.
Right. That became your norm. Now you got to change that, right? You got to change that. So you came up with a good topic today, right? What was the topic you wanted to talk about?
Just standing in your, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, especially when everything is pointing to the opposite of that, right? Whether it's people's opinions, you could even use this COVID situation right now as an example of that, of knowing something, and even though it's an unpopular opinion, and like everything points to maybe you're not right, just trusting yourself, standing in your power, and speaking your truth.
Oh, sure. And it doesn't even have to go with the COVID. It can go with, vaccines or anything like that, right? For example, we did not vaccinate our daughters.
Yeah.
There are people that say, good for you. And then there are people that look at us and go, oh my God, what are you, crazy?
Yeah.
You didn't vaccinate them?
Yeah,
I said,
you're a psychopath.
Why would I vaccinate my children? I'm teaching, and if you see my kids, and you see my kids, they're tall, they're slim, they're muscular, they've got boxes on their stomach.
Yeah.
They work out, they're second-degree black belts.
Visions of health.
Right? My daughter is in her first week of high school, and she's already joined the Navy ROTC.
Wow.
I didn't push it to that. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing that, right? And then she's in volleyball, so extremely athletic. So what we're doing is we're teaching our kids to be healthy,
right?
Rather than shoving everything you can into your mouth, and it not be, and why do we call it junk food? Because it has nothing in it. It's empty.
Yeah,
it's junk. Right?
Yeah.
It has no value, no nutritional value.
It's garbage.
Right, it's garbage. And then our bodies are trying to scrounge for anything that it can take to help build and replenish and fix and all that. And meanwhile, it doesn't. And so if you stay healthy, you don't need vaccines, you don't need to do anything of that nature, but it's just a way of thinking, right? So the majority is telling me I'm crazy. When I wanted last summer to put my daughter into camp, one of the camp mothers that I was talking to and interviewing the camp, she asked if they were vaccinated, and I said no. She goes, well, all the kids in this camp are vaccinated. I said, okay, great. So your kids have nothing to worry about from my kid.
Right.
My kid actually has to worry from your kid, because God knows what crap your kids are carrying.
Right.
And she was like, no, but you don't understand. You have to vaccinate. Because I said, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
So and that is the unpopular belief. But how do you stand strong, and how do you stand by your guns? Right. This is what we want to talk about today.
Absolutely.
Right. And we're going to post some cards on it. But what we're going to do first is we're going to hear a little bit from our sponsors, and then we're going to come back. We'll pull a couple of cards for some people, and we'll talk about how you can stick to your guns even when the river is pushing against you.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Traveling Investor on W4CY Radio. Please take a moment to listen to the sponsors who have a secret message just for you. Don't leave. The best is yet to come. The Traveling Investor will be right back.
I wanna be rich. Oh, I wanna be rich.
Behind everything you're searching for is something you're actually looking for. When you search with the Real Yellow Pages, you get more than a contractor. You get a whole new curb appeal. It's not just getting directions to a dry cleaner with YP.com. It's rescuing an old favorite from the back of the closet. And it's more than finding a locksmith with YP.com on your mobile. It's getting to sleep in your own bed. Whatever it might be, there are more ways to search and more ways to find exactly what you're looking for with the Real Yellow Pages, YP.com, and YP.com on your mobile, only from AT&T.
Fiesta Pet Deli, South Florida's original and only fresh food deli for pets. We carry a full line of products like Bravo, Nature's Variety, and BioComplete. We have FDA-approved meals that are prepared daily. Stop by our brand new store located at Sample Road and the Turnpike in the Festival Flea Market in Pompano, Florida, or call 954-971-2500. Check us out online at www.realfoodforpets.com. If your pet's overweight, suffers from skin problems, or you suspect food allergies, we have the solution. We also carry a large variety of pet strollers, bedding, apparel, collars, leashes, natural chews, and grooming supplies. Veterinarian owned and operated, Fiesta Pet Deli's mission is to help every pet owner have the healthiest pet they possibly can. Call us today for local deliveries or shipping throughout the United States. Call Fiesta Pet Deli today at 954-971-2500. That's 954-971-2500.
Hey, this is Rebel Medler. Join me for In Your Face on W4CY.com, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You are now tuned into W4CY Radio, entertainment at your fingertips.
I wanna be rich. Oh, I wanna be rich.
Attention listeners, we are preparing once again for takeoff, so please return your seats as W4CY Radio welcomes back your real estate guru, the Traveling Investor, Nitsan Mosery.
That was Nitsan Mosery. Welcome back to the Traveling Investor Show. I'm Nitsan Mosery, and this is Tom Zames, philosopher extraordinaire. And we're here. Before the show, we started talking about, putting it out there, right? Putting out the good vibe.
Yeah.
Thoughts are energy, right? They're things. It's like a pebble in the water, right? It affects 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Right?
You might as well think good. You have nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose, and it costs nothing.
Yeah.
But the return on investment is infinite.
Yeah. That's it.
It's infinite.
Right.
It's infinite,
It's so infinite, we said at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to pick, if anybody wants a card, let us know if you want us to pick a card for you. But before we went on break, you had been talking about, sticking to your guns, right?
Sticking to your guns.
How do you stick to your guns? And we had a comment here that says lots of people confuse opinion with facts. And what do you say?
I say let's go hand in hand. He or she's probably referring to opinions that maybe look like they're contrary to what the facts are. I'd say there's a lot of facts right now. You can find a lot of facts supporting both sides. There's a lot of information and disinformation from both sides. And what I would say is that once you sift through everything, and what I like to do is I like to see what feels like the truth for me. Feel it in my body. What feels like the truth? What resonates? And I decipher the situation and I get the gist. I don't get everything right, but I get the gist. Always. It's never wrong. And I know that because I'm really in tune with my intuition, at least a lot more than I used to be. So that's where intuition comes into play. Regardless, sometimes you have facts presented to you that don't reconcile with the gut for some reason, right? Whether it's this or some other situation, and trusting what you know. And then, as unpopular as that is, as bleak as it looks when you see all these headlines of surging cases that you know in your soul aren't true, and you see all these things, Trump's down 15 points in the polls, things that we know aren't true, and you're bombarded with all of this, it can weigh you down. I had a friend reach out to me on Messenger. She's a fellow truther, and she sent a message like, hey, is there a chance that there's a conspiracy about the conspiracy? And it's you've seen that going around, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that that's always a possibility. That is
Uh-huh.
always a possibility. And I've already considered that possibility. And I would say that is possible with things, but not in this situation.
Why not?
I'm
Why not?
100% certain.
What is this? Why is this different
It
than
just
that?
doesn't. None of the dots add up. Because if it wasn't that, then that would mean that nothing weird's taking place with Hollywood. There wouldn't be any of this weird pedophilia stuff. There wouldn't be any of this adrenochrome stuff.
Mhm.
It would just be business as usual. The Clintons really wouldn't be bad people. No kids would have gotten trafficked from Haiti under her foundation. Gates would just be, just a nice old gentleman that's trying to help humanity, and they don't add up. And I reminded her that, and she was like, "Thank you, I needed that. I'm getting beat down. I'm being beat down." She's like, "Absolutely." She found her power again, found her strength. But when you constantly bombarded, and that's what brainwashing is. That's why so many people are brainwashed. Me too. So when I go out, even with the mask, right? I wear it into the store, and then I'll come out. And the other day I caught myself getting into my car with it still on just because I forgot to take it off. Not because I wanted it on, but you know what I mean? You start doing this, it becomes a habit. That's what they want.
It becomes part of it.
A habit is a brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. I don't know where I went with that topic. We went all
Lots
over
of
the
people
place.
confuse opinion with facts.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's got an opinion. So what I do is I decipher the people's opinions, and I see who seems truthful. I can tell who's lying to me. I have this gift. So we all have this gift if you want to learn it. In fact, I'm going to do a course about it, so you can actually buy it.
there you go.
And I see what resonates with me. I can tell if someone's lying to me.
Sure, if you're in touch
I think a
with
lot
yourself,
of people can,
absolutely.
right?
Mhm.
I know you can.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't even really need the facts. You can just give me everyone's opinions of it, and I can figure it out from who's lying.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, what I like to do is I like to take, if it's something that Trump said or something that he did, go to the actual source of the video itself, listen to it, go
Get the
directly to the CDC, to the WHO, to whatever, source is supplying that information, and see, and then go and look and actually go to Fox and go to CNN and go to the Times and go to different places and see how they report on the fact.
Yeah.
And this, you can learn to understand how each particular source of media portrays this one item.
Yeah. The truth doesn't need to be pushed upon you. That's another thing. And you can kind of feel when you're being pushed, someone's forcing or pushing a belief on you, or when they know it's true and a belief is out there. You don't need to push the truth on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious there's things being pushed right now. Donald Trump's a horrible person. That's been being pushed for.
Sure.
That's obvious.
Sure.
You can just see what's being
Well,
pushed.
the Russian collusion was pushed. The Ukraine was pushed.
Yeah.
Then the impeachment was pushed.
Yeah.
Then what else was it?
It would have happened naturally if these things were like
right. And then
true.
And then what happened after the impeachment, the Ukraine, what else there was? I don't even remember, man. Then there was then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Right. And that had to be pushed on us. Then the murder hornets, but that lasted I think 2.5 days.
Yeah. Well, they're going with the GMO mosquitoes now.
Right.
I don't like that.
The
That doesn't
GMO,
sound good either.
No, it's horrible.
That's near us too. I don't like that at all.
And And then so they tried pushing all this stuff on them, and now, and it's just one thing after another, and it just falls off. It just kind of bounces right off.
Yeah. So you can see where they're trying to steer you. And by there, you can, I always figure out the truth is done best in reverse a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of going backwards. What's going on? Why do they want me to think this? Who's pushing this? What's it tied into? What's the motive? Where's the motive?
Where's the money
Follow
coming?
the money. Money, motive, deductive reasoning. And all you need to do is just connect a few dots, really, and you can get the gist of a situation.
Sure. How are people to know what is real and what is not? Well, you can always fact check. Yeah, right. But like we mentioned earlier, you gotta feel it. You gotta go and you gotta do your research. Go to the source of the information, right? If it's a video, go directly to the main video itself, not clips what somebody else put, because that can always be taken out of context. And just go around feeling it, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about it.
Dude, there is so much information out there. You just have to use your instincts. This is a missing component of a lot of people right now. This is a big problem.
Yep.
You need to see what sounds like the truth, what feels like the truth. You can feel it. There's a feeling you get when you know.
But there's and also like I mentioned, you can always go to the source, a website, the actual video clip, and read and listen to what it actually was, and then go to the different media.
Yeah.
Right. News media, news sources, and see how they portray that particular story, and then you'll be able to find out which one aligns with you and aligns with the actual truth of the story, right? And is not colored by bias or anything of that nature, right? So that's how you can figure out which one is lying and which one is not, and what's true. Right?
You can do that, yeah.
With all the information out there today, you have to do a lot of your own research.
Absolutely.
You can't rely just on, what you're picking up on Facebook or on TikTok or anything like that. You got to go out and do it.
There's a lot of bad information out there.
There's a lot of bad information. There's some shithead sitting in his house who's a hoarder in front of his computer, creating all these memes and all these things, and who the hell knows what's true and what's not true. So go do your homework, go research, right? Go spend the time. And Google is not the only search engine, right?
No.
They hide a lot of stuff. They do all that. Find other ones. Brave.
DuckDuckGo might be compromised now.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe. Brave. Try Brave.
Okay.
Brave.
Brave.com.
Yeah.
Right. It's another search engine.
There you go.
Right. Just figure. I was going to say Google. Google search engine.
I always say Google too. Isn't that amazing? We've been brainwashed into saying Google.
That's right.
Look at that.
We've been brainwashed into saying Google.
Brainwashing and a habit is the same thing.
Google this, Google that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
it's become a word. It's a verb.
It's a verb to Google something.
It's disgusting.
Yes.
I'm never going to say that word again.
So I'm going to hold you to it.
Well, let's just say searches from now on.
Searches.
That's our. Let's start a challenge.
Do some searches.
Do some searches.
Go on your search engine and search. Right. Yeah, that's gonna last and that's gonna catch very quickly. But let's get back to what you were talking about.
Dingleberry.
Dingleberries. We love dingleberries. How can you stick to your guns? How do you know? Like they said over here. How do you know what's right and what's not? And how do you know that what you believe in is right, and how do you stand strong? And it doesn't matter what side you're on.
Yeah,
your belief is your belief, right? What you believe is what you believe. So how, for anybody who's on one side and who's questioning, how do you stick to your guns?
Well, the more you do it, the more confident you get.
Okay, so practice.
Yeah, because I find myself asking myself less and less, and just knowing and questioning it, looking at the other sides, and then knowing. So, the more you do it and the more you see that you were right, you reinforce your own belief and your self-confidence in yourself. So that's one way. The other way is it's faith. It's faith. Just like, what's that quote? taking that step without seeing the next staircase. Martin Luther King, one of the best quotes of all time, one of the greatest quotes ever. And I
can't remember it.
I just butchered it. Faith is like taking that next step even when you can't see it, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll write it down. We'll put it on
We'll
with
put it on
that,
the paper.
with
There
the
you
song.
go. Uh-huh.
Faith, belief. We're it's fear. To be in fear, you're believing something you can't see. So nobody has trouble being fearful, which means they believe in things they don't see.
Mm-hmm.
But when you believe in things you don't see, it's made fun of. When the people that do believe in things that they can't see, like
Right.
me and you,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to see. Some things you just know without being able to see, touch, taste, and feel them. And
So here's a question. You're talking about belief, right?
mhm.
And we're talking about how do we know what's true and what's not true? When your belief is so strong, and everything starts from a belief, right? Belief that I can do what I set my mind to, right? That's a belief, right?
Mhm.
I can accomplish whatever it is that I want to accomplish. Is a belief in myself, a belief in that the universe works with me and not against me. So if I believe that I can manifest and create, so maybe everything I know or believe in is true, is correct, because I can manifest whatever I want. I can manifest getting sick. I can manifest the people in my life being healthy.
Yeah.
Right. So, when you're, back to the question here, how do you know what's real and what's not? I think whatever you believe to be real will be real for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So in that way, everybody's right.
Everybody's right. Everybody has their own belief systems.
Right.
Everybody has their own point of view, right? So if they say, let's take this another step. So they say that COVID is is a deadly virus and it can kill you, blah, blah, blah. So if you're of the belief that you will never get this disease and that you're strong and that you surround yourself with people who are positive and blah, 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 then you may never be affected by this. And for you, the story that is told in your life will be a completely different story than somebody else who maybe doesn't believe.
Yeah.
Or who believes different things. Believes that, yes, oh my God, this is a deadly virus. I'm so susceptible to getting it. I'm so worried. That they actually stress themselves out and they
manifest it.
They manifest it because they're worrying about it, right?
Yeah.
And they're stressing out their immune system. They're compromising it itself. And then they go and they have a friend who's also compromised, who got sick, and then pass it on. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
it's the same vibration as the virus is.
So as our
fear level,
as our friend Napoleon Hill said in his book, Think and Grow Rich, whatever you think, you're right.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe.
Yeah.
So if you want to believe Trump is a great guy and he does all these good things, then that's going to be your truth. That's going to be your reality.
Yeah.
Everybody has the yin and the yang in them, right? So where sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad. There are no saints. Even the people that we think are saints are actually some of the most horrible people.
Yeah.
That have walked the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Right. So we all have that in us.
Like Mother Teresa.
It depends. I didn't want to go there, but you went there. But you went there.
Well, why not? She deserves to be dragged through the mud. She's had too many good things said about her. Let's go the other way.
We may get a lot of backlash from that, but that's fine.
And I'm standing in my truth.
He's standing in his truth. That's right.
I have no qualm saying that.
No qualm saying it whatsoever. But you got to be able, when you make a statement like that, you got to be able to actually back it up, right? You got to have evidence, right? We can't just go around, telling people, oh, you're this, you're that, you're that, right? We have to have basis. We have to have information to back statements like that, right? And they're probably going to come out soon enough, to back that up. But yeah, so we all have that good and the bad. So whatever it is that we focus on is what we're going to see.
Yep.
And that will be real for us. So if that's the case, when we're watching television, how do we know what the person in front of us is telling us is real or not, or is true or not?
I mean, like on the news?
Yes. On the news, on
We
social
don't.
media,
Well, I mean,
on the internet, right? When people are searching for information.
it's very
right.
difficult because they mix in truths, half truths,
Mm-hmm.
with other things, right?
Mm.
So sometimes they're not even really completely lying.
They're just
They're distorting things.
They're looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, but they're also twisting things around to make things appear a certain way,
Uh-huh.
right? Like Trump saying he wanted to ban Muslims from traveling for 30 days.
Right.
That turned into Trump's banning Muslims from entering our country
Right.
indefinitely.
Right.
That's what that turned into quickly,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which then turned into he's a racist.
Right.
So they took something that was true, they twisted it, changed the context of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it became a lie. But everybody does that.
Everybody does that.
It's so yeah.
We twist things to make it look and sound the way we want it for a
Yeah.
certain outcome.
Yeah, we could do that too, or we could listen to what somebody says, and we could hear two different things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. I know that when my wife, when I get into it with my wife and she's telling me stuff, and then I'll go and repeat what she says. She's like, "That is not what I said at all."
Huh.
I'm like, "But that's what I heard." She goes, I didn't, nothing of that. And the same thing with me. When I tell her something, sometimes, and I'll like, repeat what I said, and she'll say it. I'm like, "Where did you come up with that?" It's like, that is not at all what I said.
it's a lie.
Right? But think about it, right? We have our ears and our senses that these are filters, and we've, our brain, and we've molded these filters and created them in a certain way that through our experiences and whatnot through our lives, this is how we see things and what we hear, right? And what we think we hear.
Yeah,
What we think we hear.
it's interesting.
Anybody want us to pick a card for you? Because we're right here waiting. Last week and the week before, we had a couple of people come back and tell us that the cards were amazing for them.
Very helpful.
Were very helpful. They were able to go out and do and be more and accomplish more and meet and
Yeah,
love and all that, and it was amazing. It was amazing,
Yeah.
right? Just they listened to the cards, they listened to themselves, and they took action.
yeah. They listen to themselves though.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
That is all it ever is. You
That's
know,
all
you
it
have
ever
to
is.
sit and to be able to identify the feeling of positivity of yes
Yeah.
inside of you,
Yes.
so that whenever it's there, you can say, "Oh yes, this is good. This is not good." And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was traveling and I started learning Reiki, Reiki energy healing,
Yeah.
right? Boom, put your hands on something and you can transfer energy from the universe through you and blah, 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 all that stuff. So I used to travel, and when you're traveling, you go into these places that are remote, out of the way. They don't really have the technology that most places do. They don't have running water some places. They don't have refrigerators, right? So you're eating stuff and you don't know if it's spoiled or not, right?
Yeah.
So I would always put my hands on my food before, right? Just right above it and just say, "Okay, tell me if you're good or not."
Mm.
And I would just feel my food. And many times I would be like, I don't want to eat that.
So like you could tell if it's like milk was spoiled
If
without
the milk
tasting
or
it.
if I ordered like a vegetable lentil soup or a curry or something of that nature, I would just put, I give it Reiki.
Okay.
And then as I'm giving it Reiki, I would ask, and I'd say, "Let me know if this is safe and is healthy and is good and whatnot." And I'd get a feeling like a little pushback, and and I'd be like, "I don't want that." And the one time where I put my hands and I said, "Nah, you know what? I'm going to eat it anyway." I got food poisoning for 3 days in the mountains of Guatemala in Coban. I went and I had IV in both my arms, and they couldn't find the vein. And I walked out and I had black and blue marks all my entire forearms. It lasted for like 2 weeks. But ever since then, I always put my hands on my food, and I always sense, and I always,
Always?
except
Like if you're out to eat or
yeah, even when I'm out to eat, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
boom. Absolutely, man. And it happened to me again where I put my hands. We were at this restaurant in Delray with my wife and another couple, and we went out, and they brought over I had like a piece of salmon with some hummus, and I put my hands over it, and I got a sense that the hummus wasn't good, and I took a little bit, and I'm like, it's right on the edge.
Really?
It's right on the edge, and I ate it, and I got sick.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's amazing. They also say that you can change the molecular structure of the food too. So I know people that if they get water, they'll do that. And
absolutely.
And I say, does that get rid of it? And they say, yeah. And you know what? It's back to the belief. If they believe it got rid of it, it got rid of it.
Mm-hmm. But what's awesome is that there is science to back it now.
Okay.
There is a book about this Japanese scientist who photographed molecules of water. Okay.
Yes.
And he found, and he would freeze the molecules so he could take a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he took pictures of sewage, of shower water, of water that's been out, moldy water, and then he would put water and he would put labels on them: love, anger, hate, all these different emotions and whatnot. And he would take pictures of the molecules, and the dirty water and the poisoned water, let's call it that, the molecules were always imperfect. And then he would take a little bit and he would put the word love on it on the outside of the bottle, and the water would start to change by itself because of that word.
Yeah.
And he would put, anger or pain or, hate, and it would change and it would break off.
Yeah.
So now there is science
yeah.
to back it up for the people that don't believe in things that they don't see.
Yeah. And you can even see that just with those crystals, right? Like if you took the crystal of like spring water and you took the crystal of like
bottled water,
right? You can see the pattern. It's not as symmetric. It's not as beautiful. It's not a divine.
It's not exactly.
You can just by looking at the crystal. It's amazing.
It's impaired.
Yeah.
Something impaired it.
Yes.
And then you can. But the beautiful thing is that it can go back to its enlightened state.
Right.
To its normal, beautiful. Yeah. Right.
A little bit of this.
A little bit of this. So imagine when you do a little bit of this, when you put your hands on that and you send the positive energy through you and into whatever it is you're touching, imagine what you can do when you're putting it back onto yourself.
Yeah.
When you're healing yourself.
Yeah.
You're giving that energy back to you. And it truly is amazing what you can do and the way you can heal people.
Excellent.
We all have that skill and talent. We just have to tune into it, right? Before I learned Reiki, I was like, Reiki, schmakey bullshit, all that energy bullshit. Come on, give me a piece of steak and then we'll be done with it, right? But then I learned it and it turned my life around. It turned my life 180 degrees where I became a vegetarian and I started learning more spiritual, became a holistic practitioner, went into naturopathic medicine, did all that because of Reiki, because of the energy that was suddenly blown into me, and it just changed something. People noticed a change in my facial structure and different things, so it does a lot. That energy, man, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So why not utilize it? Why not tap into that?
We all have that. We can all tap into it.
Yeah.
I was actually
a lot of people think that's not real.
I was actually thinking of starting a Reiki class in my front little yard over there with the little Japanese fountain and the trees that I have, right there.
Yeah.
About 10 people, on a weekend. I like to do my Reiki classes for 3 days.
And what, have her sit in a circle type deal?
It's in a circle. We do different meditations. We do different things. We do different healings.
Yeah.
We do different cleansings.
Let me know.
And,
I like that idea.
And it's pretty powerful. I did Reiki 1 and 2 to friends. In Guatemala, they have the Mayan ruins, the temples that stick above the treetops.
Okay.
So I went up there with 2 people, and I initiated them into Reiki up on top of that temple.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful. It was amazing. It was totally amazing.
So what did you do? Just go around the circle and give everybody Reiki and...
Well, we start talking about it. We start working with it. People that have never worked with energy, that never felt it and don't understand it, we have to first, it's like a car, right?
Yeah.
If the car, in the winter time, right, if it's left cold overnight, you don't just come turn on the engine and just go, right? You got to prime the engine. You got to make sure that everything's lubing, everything's working, everything's vibing correctly. So the same thing here. So the first day, we're just learning to feel the energy through us.
Okay.
Doing different kinds of meditations, dancing meditations, shaking meditations. We wake up the Kundalini. We do all kinds of stuff, right?
Nice.
We do all different kinds of games with the energy and all this stuff, so people can feel their own energy.
I'm excited for
another
this.
energy. And then the second day, we do the Reiki initiation, and then we learn about Reiki 1 and doing self-healing and healing to others and so forth. And then there's Reiki 2, and then there's Master Reiki.
What are you waiting for?
I put it out there on Facebook, and I didn't get a big response.
You
so
kind of
you're
rediscovering this aspect of yourself.
Yes,
a little bit, right?
Yeah, man. I used to do Reiki all over.
Yeah.
When I traveled, I was doing Reiki to people all over the place, man.
I
From
find
multimillionaires to people at festivals.
I don't think you've put enough announcements out.
I don't think so.
I think people are going to be interested in that.
Okay, well,
I do.
Well, I'll need your help to put it out there.
Okay.
I'll have to find a long weekend. That's coming up now. Now is a good time to do it because of the it's not going to be too hot being outside. September, October, November, December, January. That'd be a perfect time to do it. Or we could even go to Spanish River, to the beach, the Intercoastal,
There you go.
And do a camp out.
Oh, camp out.
Right. Do 2 nights of camping out.
Okay.
Right. Tents and all that, and we can really be in the zone.
The whole shebang.
The whole shebang. It'd be under the stars. That could be really powerful stuff. So look more into that.
A traveling investor. He's a multi-dimensional being.
Yeah, man. I've done a lot in my 50 years. I like to say that the next 50 are going to be as crazy as the first 50. Right?
You have done a lot.
Why don't you pull a card?
Yeah.
And let's focus on the fact of knowing ourselves and knowing what's true for us. All right. And we're going to pick a card. And next week, while he's doing this, we've got a guest coming on, Larry Paulson. He lives in Israel. From New York, moved to Israel. He's a peak performance coach. He helps you achieve peak performance, understands the psychology of things and all that. We're going to talk to him. We're going to share. He's going to share with us what's the best way of reaching our peak.
Getting in the zone.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what triggers and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's all. How much do we need to focus to get the right answers? You don't need to focus a lot, man. I'm reading this book called The Science of Getting Rich. Okay? And
That's an old book.
Yes. And he says in the book, he goes, why do we think that the universe or God needs to be told several times what we want? God is God. The universe is the universe. It knows. It hears us. It hears everything.
It knows before we say it.
Mm-hmm. So all you have to do is think it once, say it once, and let it out.
Yeah.
So how much do you need to focus to get the right answers? Just ask for it and then let it go.
Instead of focus, I would say quiet your mind. Slow your mind down, meditate. Maybe not necessarily even focus on it, because when you're focused on it,
you're focusing on getting the right answer. You're not open to receiving the answer. Okay? Think about it. When we focus, what are we doing? It's like the horses, right? It's like the horses, when they put the blinders on, they want you to focus straight ahead.
Yeah.
Right? And they want you to focus only on the thing that you're looking at. So that's what happens when you focus on getting the right answer. You're looking for the answer. You need to stop looking for the answer and be open to receiving the answer, which is completely different. Right? Which is completely different. So you can ask the question and put it out there and then forget it. Now be open to receiving the different answers from different places that's going to come to you. So that's how you go about doing that.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
So next week we got Larry. He's going to be awesome. And then I'm working on another guest who she is in health and nutrition as well. She's going to come and talk to us about how to stay positive, how to keep healthy, how to move right, how to do all that stuff. Because if you're not moving your body, your mind gets stagnant. And if your mind gets stagnant, your body soon follows. So you either move your mind first and then move the body, or you move the body to then move the mind.
They both work.
Something's got to move.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that. So right before I came over here, not right before, but like, 20 minutes before I left, I put some music on. Put some music on, started moving around a little bit, getting a little loose.
Right.
And it's funny because all of a sudden I started getting all this creativity. It started coming to me of ideas of videos and stuff and all that. And that wasn't even my intent. And I remembered how, when you're having fun, everything just flows, everything's open. And it's the same thing. So, that movement, all we did was just, put some music on, right? Danced around for a little bit, moved about my place with some purpose and some rhythm. And, I showed up here and you said that you said I was in a good mood.
The energy was elated, right? And that's what it does. And that's exactly what it does. And that's, with like my Reiki classes, one of the things that we do in the beginning is we shake very fast. And then we dance, and we dance to nice, happy music, spiritual, happy music, just to uplift the energy and uplift your vibration, right? Because we need to vibrate as in the same frequency as the universal energy that we're going to connect with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. You connect, you're vibrating. If you're buzzing low, it's very hard to connect. You can't. So you gotta jack that energy up there. And we've talked about it a lot on the show, about different ways of doing it: dancing, running, just start laughing for no reason. Just start forcing yourself to laugh. And it may sound weird, but after 30 seconds, you'll start laughing and boom, Have you
ever been to laughing yoga?
No, never been to laughing yoga.
There's a thing called laughing yoga.
Oh, yeah?
And you go and you laugh intentionally, and laughter is contagious, right? And like I heard it's unbelievable.
That's great.
I heard you're literally like
find someplace.
You come out of there and it's like the greatest high you ever feel in your life.
That's great. I love it.
We'll find one.
Yeah, man, that's fantastic. Yeah. So let's do it, man. You got 2 minutes. Pick a card.
Right, I already picked this one out a while ago.
Oh.
Wow.
Mind blown.
Wow.
How more connected, is that trust in the universe, trust the process.
It's funny.
Trust in the universe is one of my favorite pictures.
I was looking at this card and then I was thinking about like either this card or this card. And then I was like, no, like this is the card. This is the card.
That's the card.
That's
Look
the
at
card.
it, man.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, huh?
That's it.
Trust.
Wow.
This is where, after seeing this card traveling, right? After seeing this so many times and it coming up, and in many of the decks that I pulled, many times that I pulled a card, I went and I had somebody paint this on a canvas for me, and I kept that canvas with me. And
the same picture?
The same picture.
You have it?
And I have it.
Really?
And I have it.
That's awesome.
Yes. It's 30 years old.
It's amazing.
25 years old. But trust. So this is where I created my saying.
What's your saying?
Which I told you last week, right?
What is it? Tell me again.
So my saying is, trust in the universe, and the universe will take care of you.
Yes.
Because that's what this card says.
Yeah.
Right? This card shows you, hey man, fall back. I'll catch you. Right?
This kid just jumped, woman, whoever, that's a leap. That's not even the step in the staircase.
That's a leap of faith. That is completely, there is nothing, you don't see the edge of where they jumped over here. You don't see the ground. There is complete and utter trust, 100% trust.
You cannot see anything.
Mm-hmm. Can you pull the other two cards you thought about pulling so we can see what they are, please? We got less than a minute. Come on, do it.
Well,
less than a minute.
They were these two actually.
All right. Show them. Inner voice, of course. Inner voice and
ripeness.
Look at that. Inner voice and ripeness. All right, people. It's been a great show. Thank you for being here. Do me a favor. Go to YouTube, like, subscribe, Traveling Investor. Check out Tom Zames on Facebook. He does a lot of live out there. Next week, we got Larry Paulson, Peak Performance. We love you. We thank you for being here, and we will see you somewhere next week on Spaceship Earth. Peace out, my friends.
Inner voice. That's right.
Trust your inner voice. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a great show. Are you excited to learn the untold secrets of how to get wealthy? Then tune in next Thursday and every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern right here on W4CY Radio. You too can learn how to become a traveling investor. If you missed any part of this episode or want to hear it again, go to the Traveling Investor Podcast on iHeartRadio. You can listen to all past episodes on demand 24/7. Next week's episode will take us somewhere new and exciting, so don't miss it. Thank you for listening.
I wanna